Tara, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, I've heard you on several podcasts. I love what you're doing with Facebook ads. So let me start here, Tara. Why should people and businesses be advertising on Facebook? Why Facebook?
Oh, goodness. Well, that's where your customers and clients are. They're hanging out on Facebook and Instagram, and don't forget they own WhatsApp, and your customers and clients are hanging out on these platforms. And I always love Gary Vee has this great quote, and he says, market for the year that you're in. So if you are living in this year and you want to go where the people are and market to them effectively, you've got to get in front of them where they're consuming content, which of course is Facebook, Instagram. Maybe even for some of your listeners, WhatsApp, that could be a really big opportunity.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, it's one of the things that can be kind of overwhelming. You're being told that you got to advertise over here, no over here, no over here.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think you hit the nail on the head on is that everyone's on Facebook. I really don't know anyone that's not on Facebook. So let's kind of apply to the beginner, someone who's not really been on Facebook ads, and they haven't been on the ad manager, and they haven't done, they're fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's the best place for them to start?
I would say start with, honestly, we have so many. So I own a membership where we teach people Facebook and Instagram ads. We have so many people come through that start with $10 a day. And you definitely want to start with building out some sort of offer, right? Could be free information, could be free training, could be a checklist of some sort, could be a discount type offer. So, maybe you have a restaurant and you do tacos and it's like buy 3 tacos, get 1 free. It can be whatever kind of offer you want. But the best way is to create an offer and run a very low budget to that offer. And then you can refine it and start to scale it up as you see it making sense. So like I said, we have hundreds of people come through that create really, really easy offers, and they run $10 a day to it. That's $300 a month. Most any business should be able, even if you're a startup, you should be able to find that in your marketing budget. And then from there, you start to refine it and you see what works. And the really cool thing is you get so much feedback from your customers and clients. You will see if your marketing is landing, if it's resonating very quickly, because you'll see it through the data, and you might even see it through their engagement in your ads. But you get so much feedback. If you just learn very quickly how to read this data, you will be able to take that and grow. I honestly believe any business in any industry, in any market, you will be able to grow that if you learn how to do this effectively.
Yeah. And being part of a community is a big part of that as well. So I want to touch on that here in just a moment. First off, let's put aside a budget. We're going to spend this during month A, and then kind of go from there. Now, B, we have to craft our ad, right? So are we going to do a carousel? We're going to do a video. We're going to do a photo. What do you recommend for someone who's starting out?
Yep. If you're e-commerce, carousel is a great place to start. If you are just regular, maybe you're offering some sort of free information. Honestly, carousels can be a little bit trickier, and actually so can videos, and so can some of the other things. A simple image usually works the best. And we take people through a very specific testing protocol. We have them test their copy, their imagery, and their headlines in a very specific way. It creates a phenomenal result. 9 times out of 10 outperforms any other system I've ever tried. And trust me, if I ever get a unique or new system that I see, for Facebook and Instagram, I'm trying it. I'm testing. I'm put all the things to the test, and we've developed this over years and thousands of people. And if you just take your ads through this very simple testing protocol, copy, imagery, headlines, you can test whatever else you want as well. You will have an ad that will perform in front of your ideal clients and customers. And from there, you can start to scale it. But honestly, so going back to what works best, when you're talking carousel, all that stuff, that's fancy. You do not want to start fancy. You want to start very simple and then add on the fancy stuff. And I'll compare, or I'll kind of illustrate that by explaining images versus GIFs versus videos, because everybody wants to start with a video, and everybody's all about video. The videos are very effective when you find the right one. But 9 times out of 10, a simple image is going to outperform video. I, in fact, don't really recommend people start playing with video until they have a really good sense of what their market actually responds to. Because now you're creating these videos. Let's say it's a 1-minute video. Every second of that video gives people an opportunity to judge it as something that they're not interested in. It could be the tone of your voice, could be, a side glance of your eye that they don't like. And all of a sudden, subconsciously, they go away from the video.
Yeah.
And so video is very challenging to kind of get the right one, especially if you're just brand new and starting off with your ads. But here's what I will say about video. When you find a video that outperforms, whoo, does it outperform? I mean, typically that thing will take off and it can run if you do it the right way of Facebook and Instagram, there's some tricks with videos to give them real longevity on the platform. But when you find a video that will work, it can work for a very long time. We had a client who had a video, literally, we tried everything you can imagine in this world to get to beat this video. Nothing would beat it. We had it running for 2 years, took her from a couple $100,000 a year up to multi-million dollars a year in revenue. And it was just this one video. Well, one day we finally did a photo shoot that actually outperformed the video. And then that photo shoot is what became our top performer for a long time. Nothing would outperform that particular photo shoot. So those things are all fancy and they can work really well, but you've got to build up to them, I'll say, because, people see an image and they either like it or don't. There's not too much to judge. There's not a voice and, all this stuff that you judge with video. I don't like their background, their lighting sucks, all this stuff. But when you do the right video, man, can it work extremely well.
Yeah. And a minute is a long time, right? It's a long time in a social media world. Like 10 seconds is a long time. Well, so you just dropped something that I think is really, really, really interesting, right? So let's start simple. Let's start with a picture. Yeah. Let's start with a good header, some good copy, right? Because that's where the magic is. And what I'm kind of hearing you say is once you find the copy that works, maybe let's take that copy and let's turn that into some video content. You think that's a good strategy?
Yes, exactly. Well, we all think that we know our customers and clients, We all think, I know exactly how they talk. Or listen, until you see their particular way of how they interpret your business and your marketing, you have no idea what they want or need or how they say it. Great example of this. I don't know. I've worked with so many hundreds and hundreds of people in the online space. And I'll say I can literally say I've worked with hundreds of coaches, let's say. And oftentimes they will take their clients' words and they will interpret them in their own way. So if a client says, I want to lose this muffin top, and they're, and they don't say that in their ads. What they say is, are you just dying to, do you want to slim up or get rid of that? And it's like, no, you've got to say exactly how they say it, right? Which sometimes isn't how we say it as the business owner. And sometimes the way we say it is very sophisticated. Another great example, I've worked with a lot of spas and who run ads. And so they use words like hyperpigmentation, PIH, to describe some of the aging processes that their clients want to, reverse. And what their clients are coming to them and saying is brown spots.
Right. So do you think, I'm curious, do you think it's smart to do like keyword research like you might do for a Google ad or a YouTube? Do you think that's an effective way to start maybe?
Such a simple way to go about this is even look at reviews on Amazon. And so you could do keyword research, but honestly, the reviews on Amazon are so good. Keyword research is great as well, but the Amazon reviews will give you a little bit more context to how people say things and how they describe them, right? So going back to this spa example, if my ad is saying address your pigmentation and I'm calling my pigmentation a liver spot or a sunspot, then that will mean nothing to me. But if you go to the Amazon reviews for products that are complementary to yours or your competitors' products, you will see exactly what people love, what people hate, and what you can start to address in the right language in your ads. So that whole concept was just to say, as business owners, oftentimes we are so clueless about how people actually describe our business and how they would interpret our marketing. So you've got to get on the other side with them. You got to use the words that they use. And then you can turn that into amazing video content. You can turn that into all sorts of amazing content, newsletters and emails and, all sorts of digital content that people will respond to. But you've got to first do that research. Such a good idea. The keyword research or Amazon research.
Yeah. I love that Amazon research because you can do that for free. You don't need any special fancy tools. Just go to Amazon, find that's brilliant. That's great stuff. So obviously it's important that we have a good header tag. We've got good copy. We've got a good solid image, maybe a good call to action, right?
Yep.
So assuming we've got that down, let's A/B testing, right? Like that's probably one of the most important things. I don't want to skip too far ahead, but how many tests should someone be running to start, right? How many tests do you think someone should run at first?
Well, okay. So we have people go through a very basic protocol. You can expand this. You can add as much complexity as you wish to this, but this works really well for us. So we have them test 3 different copy variations. We have them test 3 to 5 images. We have them test 3 to 5 headlines. And that will typically get you to a really good ad. And then from there, you start to take that ad to all the audiences that you want. Now, what I always say about audiences, because audiences, you can test people who like Whole Foods versus people who like Thrive Market. You might see a little bit of a different result between those two. I'm just throwing that out as an example. Okay. But with audiences, I always say, I test them by the dozen, and I'm very pleased if 2 or 3 of them turn out to be something I want to play with. So most of my audience tests go into the garbage. They don't work. They're not effective. Especially if I'm testing new audiences, that I think will be a good match. But like I said, I test them by the dozen and most of them don't work out. And so when you go into A/B testing with that kind of mindset, like most of your ads won't work out. Most of your audiences won't work out. You're looking for the little gold. You're looking for little treasures that actually end up resulting in something for you. And so that's one way to test. Now there's lots of other methods that are, that can be more complicated, but I found that typically for 99.9% of you, that will get the job done.
And how long would you let a test run for, right? But how long before this is not going to work, right?
Super simple. We always let it run to 1,000 in reach at a minimum, or a few conversions, whichever one you see first. Now, I add a big caveat there and say this is for a smaller budget, right? If I'm working with a smaller budget, and I do my testing that way, I'm going to spend $250 to $500 going through my testing protocol. But then I'll have an ad that I can then put at $10 a day, or I can put it $50 a day. I can put it $100 a day. It doesn't matter what. The budget would be, I'd put it $1,000 a day if I wanted. Some of our clients have been $5,000 a day. So if I'm working with a smaller budget, I'm going to at least those minimum of 1,000 in reach, or at least a few conversions, whichever is bigger, let's say. And then if I've got a bigger budget, maybe I'm working with a $20,000, $50,000 a month budget, I'm going to spend some more money on testing. Right. I might spend $1,000, $2,000 on testing, really let those tests run until, 10, 20,000 in reach. And then really see how it kind of plays out with a little more budget.
Yeah, really smart. I'm just curious, was there ever a time where you did an ad and it just hit? The first ad just blew up. You're like, magic.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah, for sure. I always have, definitely, for sure. It happens. Usually it'll be in the testing, have I ever just run one ad without an A/B test behind it? No.
Exactly. Yeah,
no, I've never done that. I've never, I've never done that because,
I think, but the reason I ask is I think a lot of people do that. They're like, all right, I'm going to throw up, I'm going to boost this post. Yeah. I'm going to throw up an ad and it doesn't work. I'm going to send a postcard instead. Right.
Yeah. Oh, totally. 100%. People spend a couple $100 on Facebook and they spend it willy-nilly and they have no idea what they're doing. And then they assume Facebook doesn't work for them. Yeah. That's so unfortunate because they are literally letting their competitors figure out the platform and get ahead. It really just takes a couple hours to learn how to do it. And it is such a massive skill that you would give yourself if you would just let yourself go through a learning process. So yeah.
It's always evolving too, right?
Oh yeah, constantly. Oh, in fact, every 6 weeks, we think there's a major enough update to the algorithm that you need to stay on top of it. So every day there's updates, right? Probably hundreds, maybe even thousands of small updates every day. Some of them are just tests and some of them are bigger updates. But every 6 weeks, we see a big enough change and Facebook will admit to this too. There's big enough change in the algorithm that you better learn what it is and how to use it to your advantage, or it will use you to its advantage. So,
right.
So there's your choice.
So it's a constant like learning process. And I think that's a real good reason to be in some sort of like a membership or community. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I do want to ask you a couple of questions about that. But I'm also curious. So we're in the middle of the coronavirus outbreak. Yes. Obviously, the entire world economy is evolving and changing. Yeah. Have you adapted your messaging in your ads because of that?
Yes, 100%. So a few things we've noticed with that. Going all out with brand new messaging. Well, best practice is never, you don't want to like use the pandemic, any pandemic or any world global event. You don't want to, and it's not even being slimy about it. You actually kind of don't want to, you don't want to leverage that too much, Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of first best practice for any business is just kind of, customary to not like over leverage world events. The second big thing is we've noticed subtle tweaks are actually making the biggest difference. So if you really shift your messaging entirely, it's unlikely to help your ads that much. I'll give you an example from our client lab. One of our clients always had in a very non-essential industry, they teach a hobby, mm-hmm. and they basically had a 3 to 4x return on their investment using simple messaging around vacationing, right? So obviously that's kind of Corona time. That is not very, very applicable, not very relevant. And so they just shifted that message and said, are you stuck at home? So they went from a 3 to 4x return on their ad spend. So in other words, they put $1 into Facebook and pulling $3 to $4 out on their back end. And they shifted that one thing to revolve around vacations to instead revolving around being stuck at home. And is it time to finally learn this new hobby? And they went from 3 to 4x to 7 to 8x return on their ad spend. One simple sentence is all that got shifted. So we're actually finding, and I know some people are experiencing, complete revamps of their messaging. For the most part, what I'm seeing is very, very small tweaks will get the job done. So it doesn't have to be crazy, but literally just a tiny bit of mention, that makes it relevant. And ideally it's not in a way that's overused, like uncertain times.
Right. We're in this together. Uncertain.
Could you be a little bit more fun about it? I don't know. There's lots of ways to do it without kind of overusing those buzzwords that people are now just rolling their eyes about. Uncertain times or
we'll go back to the A/B
unprecedented.
Testing too, right? You probably break down a list of 5 or 6 or a dozen different headliners or one-liners to try to trigger that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Tara, I want to talk to you a little bit about your membership course, right? Because most digital agencies are all about that. They're like, how can we get more clients to sell them more ads? Yeah. But you kind of went a different way. What prompted you to start this membership community, and how's that look?
Well, for years, I've had so many, because a lot of my clients have had online courses. And so for years, I would have either them or their project managers or whoever kind of approach me and just say, listen, you need to have a course and you're great at teaching and the way you explain things. And I've always been really big into education with my clients. And I've always had to find, because sometimes Facebook ads, if you just look at it, straight on, it can be a little bit challenging to understand initially. So what I had to do is figure out all these ways to make Facebook ads make sense to my clients. Well, I did a good job at that. And so, some of them asked me, hey, would you come into my community and teach my community? So I had to figure out these ways to teach these other communities that had no experience with ads or even digital marketing. And so I'd figure out these analogies and fun, easy ways to teach. And, so many of my techniques fell flat. And so I go back to the drawing board and how do I teach this a different way? Or what's a better analogy for that? And pretty soon we started doing really well. In fact, I would say, I can probably claim to have, I think accurately claim to have taught more people in their late 60s, 70s, and 80s Facebook ads than any other ads teacher that I know of. And I'm telling you, they're good enough that you would beg me for their phone number if you knew how good they were. They are so good at ads. One of my best students is in her 80s, and she can flipping kill it on ads, I'm telling you. And so, I think because of that, when it came time for me to realize, like, we can't take on more clients, I don't want to expand my agency. How can I serve all these people I want to help? Because I love teaching this. I just realized I needed to have a membership. Now, I told you I'd been approached by so many people about having my own course. I didn't believe in courses for ads because that algorithm changes every 6 weeks. It just seemed like, how can I possibly teach this, let them go on their way, and then in 6 weeks, there's going to be a major update.
Right.
So once I kind of figured out there's a different way of doing this, and that way could be a membership, I was sold. And so, yeah, we've been able to teach thousands of people how to do their own ads, save money over hiring it out. It's been a wonderful experience.
That's really smart. And I think, so if I'm seeing or hearing one common thread throughout our conversation, it's you need to listen to what people need.
Yes.
Don't try to fit a square
Absolutely.
through a circle hole.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to what people need. And I think that's when the magic really happens. Where is your community? Is it on Facebook, or is it on a separate platform? Where do you host your community?
Well, we have our training. So I put everybody through our training, which is the same system we've used to build, our multi-million-dollar clients. So we take them through our trainings, very simple, step-by-step, short lessons. Basically, you get your ad set up within a couple hours sort of deal. Mm-hmm. And we have our membership, our kind of community. We have a Facebook group to house kind of the daily questions and that sort of thing. And then we also have daily support. So we have daily office hours, and we have people hopping in right now, in fact, to our office hours. Our coaches on there, and they'll just, hey, I've got this question, or I got this block, or, this looks buggy to me. Is this just a Facebook bug, or is this something I need to resolve on my end? So people hop in and ask their questions and get on their way. It's pretty cool.
Really smart. Do you do live video and interact with a lot of people as well in your group? Has that been a powerful tool for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We do a ton of video, a ton of live video. I don't think this would be as effective without all the video. Lots of video happening all the time. How
do you stream live video? Do you have a separate tool for live video, or do you just use whatever's native to the platform?
Yeah, whatever's native to, we typically do. If I'm doing like Facebook Lives, I really love the Be Live app and others like it. I think it makes it a little bit more interesting and dynamic, but yeah, whatever's native to the platform is what we typically use.
Love that. So you're keeping up with the engagement there, and live video is really powerful. Were you scared when you first went live first time?
Yes, of course. I think everybody is so intimidated by it, and definitely me too. Live video, or even doing trainings, like hosting webinars, that's all extremely overwhelming and intimidating the first time you do it. And then, you tear the Band-Aid off, and it's not so bad after.
Yeah. Same thing with your first Facebook ad and your first live video. It's all scary at first.
It's all scary at first. I think every part of business is scary at first. The first time you run your own payroll, or, hire somebody. I mean, all of that is scary. It's just the process we go through.
Yeah. I love your Instagram bio. I think it says entrepreneurship is like jumping out of a plane and out of a plane and then building an aircraft on your way down or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that.
That's right.
I like that. So, Tara, where can people find more about you to get more insight, build up more engagement, build better ads? Where can we find you?
Thank you so much. SuccessfulAdsClub.com is our website, and there you can find kind of what we're about and what we offer. And would love it if anybody was listening and it was resonating with them. Check it out and you can see if it's a good fit for you. But successfuladclub.com. And then I'm Tara Zirker on Instagram. So I'd love to connect with you there. That's where I get to be, just really open up about everything that I love, which includes family and running a business with family and faith and all that good stuff.
Love it. Love it. Instagram, a great place to give the people the behind the scenes.
Yes,
the behind the scenes.
Sure. Absolutely.
All right. Let's get into the world famous rapid fire here. All right, Tara, I'm excited. Tara, if there was one must-have item for your business under $25, what's that item?
Oh, must have under 25. Oh, well, I would just say a couple of good books. And the book that would do it for me would be Traction by Gino Wickman. It is a very boring, dull, dry read, but it is my manual. I usually have a copy right here on my desk. It is bookmarked and all sorts of things. For me, that's been the total manual for my business. Well worth $25.
Love it. Love it. Something as simple as a book. Love that. What's your favorite city to visit?
Oh, favorite city to visit definitely would be Honolulu. I used to live there. That's where I went to graduate school. And so Honolulu all day, all night for sure.
Brilliant. If you were to wake up tomorrow and there was only one task you could do in your business, what would you do?
Oh, that's a good one. Webinars. I'd be hosting workshops. So assuming, of course, everything else was managed by my team, right? Delegated, managed effectively. Yeah, that's the one thing that moves the needle. And yeah, training, workshops, webinars, that would be it.
Love that. Before I get to the next rapid fire, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but virtual assistants, do you use virtual assistants or do you who's on your team? How's your team comprised?
Yes, we have a team. I've always had a team. So we've always had anywhere from 6 to 10 people working for us, either like very part-time or full-time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we have a team all over the world.
Love it.
They're amazing.
You have to do that. That's one of the things that I found is if you're really serious about scaling and reaching more people, you have to have a team.
Yes.
When the coronavirus ends and we get to a new normal, what's the one thing that you're like, this is what I'm going to do? What are you going to do?
Oh, personally, the beach. I mean, we live right by the beach and not being able to go has been, not that we go all the time, but once a week or once every couple of weeks, we miss that so much. So personally, the beach, I have a brand new gratitude for it. And professionally, events, I am just really missing the connection of events. So I'm excited to get back to those and host some of our own as well. Yes.
Love that. You're on Facebook. You can make one post in one area. Where are you making your post?
Oh, does that mean
in a group, in your story, in your personal profile? Where would you go?
Oh, my group. I think my group, but that's a really good question. If I'm adding value in my group and if I'm doing marketing, my personal Facebook Facebook profile, I think.
Sure. Is there anything that you do in your group that's really helped to build engagement? Any like one thing?
Yes. Every year we run like 12 days of giveaways at Christmas. And I would love to do it actually another time of the year too. And it is off the charts wild. And the one thing that we do that's the most meaningful for our business, so we'll do things like, and we do 12 days of giveaways. It could be an Amazon gift card or, books or whatever. And some of them are just really fun. Post your favorite GIF or post something funny, just things to keep light, keep it light. But the one thing that we do that's really meaningful for our business is post a written, 2-sentence or video testimonial about your experience inside of our membership. We will get over 100 testimonials every year from that.
I love that. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Yeah. I love that.
And I'll tell you the giveaway on that this year was for Disney Plus memberships. We just gave away a few Disney Plus or Netflix memberships. I think next year we'll do Disney tickets actually, which will be fun.
Love it. That is super smart. I love that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna
take it and run.
That. Oh, I'm gonna use that.
Yeah.
Final question here. If you had a billboard that could reach millions and millions of people, what would you put on that billboard?
Oh gosh, million. Oh, that's exciting. Well, ideally they're all business owners. So maybe this billboard's in like Silicon Valley or something. I would, something about our ads training, the Premier ads training or learn a new lead generation something that you're not doing yet. I don't know. That would be good though, but definitely something about our training.
Good deal. You got to A/B test it first, right?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, you definitely, for sure.
Love it. Thank you so much for your time, Tara. It was a great conversation.
Thank you. This was fabulous.
Thank you.